Welcome to the course Animal Diversity 1 Biology of Non-Chordates. Myself, Dr. Sneha, Assistant Professor, Department of Zoology, St. Joseph's College for Women, Vishakhapatnam. As a part of this, we are discussing unit number 4, where we're going to talk about the two phylums, that is what phylum Annelida and phylum Arthropoda. So as a part of this, in this topic 4.1, we're going to discuss about phylum Annelida, its general characteristics and classification. And the content includes the general characters of phylum Annelida followed by the classification of phylum Annelida. After studying this topic, you will be able to identify the key characteristic features of annelids, including metamerism, true coelom, what is closed circulatory system and segmentation, etc. You can able to explain the significance of structures such as setae, parapodia, nephridia, etc. in annelids. You can able to differentiate the major classes of annelids, that is about like Polychaeta, Oligochaeta, Hirudinea, etc. based on the morphology, habitat and mode of reproduction. You can able to classify annelids up to orders with suitable examples demonstrating clear understanding of taxonomic hierarchy. So let's start with general characters of phylum Annelida. So coming to its habit and habitat of phylum annelids or annelids, mostly they are aquatic, which includes both marine and as well as freshwater, and some of them are terrestrial also. For an example, earthworms, right? So we can able to observe annelids in almost all aquatic and as well as terrestrial habitats. Okay, so we can marine forms are abundant. Like Nereis, for an example. On the other hand, freshwater and as well as terrestrial forms are little bit fewer comparing to the marine forms. Okay, so annelids are free living, burrowing, and very few of them are even parasitic forms are also available. For an example, like leeches. The next character is about body organization. If you're going to observe their structure, the body structure of Annelida, they're going to exhibit elongated the form of body, or it might be cylindrical, and they're going to exhibit bilateral type of symmetry. And we can able to observe the triploblastic organization. That is what presence of all the three germ layers. That is what ectoderm, endoderm, and mesoderm, all the three. And even annelids are going to have the true coelom. The coelom is very, very well developed, as the mesoderm is very, very well developed in the phylum Annelida. And from Annelida onwards, we can able to even observe a very, very well developed organ system level of organization is also actually present. And Annelids are going to exhibit a very, very unique type of character, that is what present only in this phylum Annelida. That is what known as true segmentation, which is also known as metamerism. Okay, so the body of annelids, in most of the annelids, it is going to divided into repeated segments. Segments means how the body internally and as well as both externally it is divided into segmentation. So this type of segmentation are actually known as metamerism. That is what the true metamerism, as I already said, it is a key feature of annelids. As the same thing you can clearly see in the diagram here also, where you can clearly observe it is a body of earthworm which is depicted in this diagram, where you can clearly see here, see the body is completely divided into a series of segments, right? So this type of segmentation where body not only externally but internally also. Okay, if it is divided into like this, then we going to call it as metamerism or actually true segmentation process. Now next about body wall and coelom. The body wall consists of cuticle externally, which is very thin and non-chitinous, followed by an epidermal layer which is highly glandular in nature, like As if you're going to observe most of the inlets, their body is a little bit moist, especially in terrestrial inlets, because of presence of this glandular epidermal layer, followed by a very thick layer of muscle layer, and this muscle layer includes both circular muscles and as well as longitudinal muscles. Okay, and the type of coelom, as in the starting slide we have discussed that inlets are going to exhibit the coelom is actually present, and in this also they're going to have a schizocylous type of the coelom. That means this coelom is actually formed by splitting of the mesoderm. Okay. And coming to next character, that is about the locomotion. So the movement of the body muscle, as just now we have discussed that they're going to have a very thick layer of the muscle layer. Okay, because of the movement of the body muscles, that is how they're going to creep actually on the land in terrestrial inlets. Okay, but on the other hand, most of the inlets are going to have a very small bristle like structures which are originating from each segment of their body, which are known as actually setae, which is most commonly seen in earthworms also. And in aquatic in aquatic annelids like Nereis, they're going to have on their each segment of their body oar-shaped the small leaf-like structures which are known as parapodia. Okay, so with the help of movement of this parapodia or setae, they can move. That means they are acting as the locomotory organelles in this phylum. On the other hand, very few annelids like leeches, they don't have any setae or parapodia, but instead of that they're going to use suckers. Actually, they're going to have suckers in their oral region and as well as in their posterior end of their body, and with the help of the suckers they're going to move from one place to another place. So this is how the type of locomotion we can able to observe in the phylum Annelida. Next, coming to system. So as a part of this, in the digestive system of phylum Annelida, they're going to exhibit a complete type of digestive tract. That means where the digestive system is present from mouth to till anus. Each and every part is present. And in the digestive tract also, if you're going to be observed, they're going to have a highly specialized regions like mouth is followed by pharynx, presence of esophagus, crop, gizzard, intestine, etc. Each and everything is present. So that is why they're going to exhibit complete type of digestive system, which actually shows a very efficient type of process of or mechanism of digestion and as well as absorption process. Now, the next after that is circulatory system. So, in annelids, they're going to exhibit closed type of circulatory system, which is little bit very well developed comparing to previous phylums, where the blood actually flows inside the blood vessel. So that is what closed type of circulatory system. And even blood contains respiratory pigments are also present, like hemoglobin is actually present. Okay, and even in annelids we can able to observe dorsal, ventral and as well as lateral vessels are also actually present. Coming to respiration, respiration actually very simple. It occurs through body surface, like mostly in earthworms what we can able to observe. They're going to exhibit a simple exchange of the gases with the help of the body surface. That is what cutaneous type of respiration, that is what with the help of the skin. On the other hand, the aquatic, the inlets, they're going to have gills, or it might be even parapodia, the oar-shaped structures what we have discussed, right? So parapodia are not only going to act as locomotory organelles in aquatic inlets, they're going to help in the process of the respiration also. Coming to excretory system, for excretion, annelids, they have developed a highly arranged, highly developed the excretory organs. That is what known as nephridia, which are present systematically and segment wise also. They are arranged for one segment. There are a pair of nephridia is actually present. And again, in the phylum Annelida, there are two different types of nephridia are present. That is what protonephridia and metanephridia. So most commonly seen the nephridia in annelids is metanephridia actually. Okay. So these, with the help of these nephredias, they're going to maintain the body balance. That is what osmoregulation, and as well as they're going to even help in assist in removal removal of the waste from their body. Coming to nervous system is also very well developed in the annelids, which actually consist of a brain, that is what cerebral ganglia, followed by circumphageal connectives are actually present, which is followed by the double ventral nerve cord, which actually passes from head to till the posterior end of their body, and in each segment the ganglia is actually present. All the ganglia are actually further connected with this double ventral nerve cord. So this actually shows a clear-cut cephalization. That is what that means, formation of a clear-cut head where it actually contains the cerebral ganglia. So that is why sense organs are also very, very well developed comparing to the previous phylums in this phylum Annelida. Okay, they're simple but little bit well developed comparing to the previous phylums like helminths, or it might be coelentrates, right? So coming to the what type of sense organs they have is photoreceptors are actually present, which are little bit sensitive to the light, and tactile organs and chemoreceptors are also basically present in phylum Annelida. Coming to reproduction, so they're going to exhibit both sexual and as well as asexual reproduction occurs. Coming to sexual mode, like mostly the sexual reproduction occurs most of the elders actually where fertilization occurs, and fertilization might be external mostly, which happens in aquatic forms, and in terrestrial forms it is an internal type of fertilization, and development, it might be direct or indirect. If it is indirect, they're going to have the larval form of inlets, which is known as trochophore larva. And even annelids are also going to exhibit one more character, that is what regeneration, where they're going to have a high power of regeneration. And not in all annelids, but few annelids are going to, that means, exhibit this, where the lost body part can be replaced or regenerated. So coming to one more thing, that is what economic importance, like as all of us know that earthworms are how beneficial for the for generation of the vermicompost. With the help of using of this earthworms only, the vermicompost is basically going to that means it can be basically formed with the help of earthworms. Okay, later as a separate topic we're going to talk about this how vermicompost is actually formed, the various steps we're going to talk about in the coming topics. Okay, on the other hand, even we have ectoparasites, which are blood sucking like leeches, are also the part of the phylum Annelida. Okay, so these are the various the basic characteristics of this phylum Annelida, right? So now we're going to discuss about the classification of phylum Annelida. So this phylum Annelida is further classified into four classes. That is what class 1 Polychaeta, class 2 Oligochaeta, class 3 Hirodinia, class 4 Archaeannelida. So let's see their further classification. So starting with class 1 Polychaeta, where we can able to see exclusively this class is meant for all the marine category of annelids, as most of them are completely marine, free living, where body is distinctly segmented. Because of their aquatic nature, they have parapodia, like for locomotion and as well as respiration. And why this class is known as Polychaeta? Because presence of that polyinnae, that is what it might be setae, the presence of numerous bristles on their body. So that is why it is Polychaeta. And head is very well developed with the highly developed sense organs are also present. On the other hand, sexes are completely separate with the help of a clear-cut male and female, the body differentiation, the dimorphism we can able to see, and the development is indirect. That means it is including a larval form, that is what trochophore larva. Okay, so this class Polychaeta is further divided into two subclasses. That is what subclass 1 Arancia and subclass 2 Sedentaria. So coming to their characters, like the subclass Arancia, it is a free swimming or crawling type of forms are present. On the other hand, like their active predators, parapodia are very well developed. Okay, the example for this category is Nereis and Aphrodite. On the other hand, for the subclass 2, Sedentaria, they are tube dwelling, burrowing type of forms, and they are a little bit less active and sessile. So because of this nature, the parapodia is little bit reduced or modified because of their less active and sessile nature. And the examples for this is Ketopterus and Erenicola. So this is about the class 1 Polychaeta. So now moving to class 2 Oligochaeta. Like we can able to observe like as a part of this earthworms. So that type of categories are going to come as a part of Oligochaeta. So most of them are terrestrial, but still, some of them are freshwater forms. Few setae are present per segment. Parapodia are completely absent. Head is not that much distinct comparing to the previous class. And oligochaetes are basically hermaphrodites, and the development is direct. That means no larval form is actually present in this oligochaeta class. So this class oligochaeta is further divided into two orders. That is what Archaeooligochaeta and second order Neo-oligochaeta. So Archaeooligochaeta, most of them are freshwater forms. The body consists of a few segments and setae are present in bundles like nature, and the gizzard is very poorly developed, and clitellum is very simple. Eye spots are frequently present, and the male reproductive opening actually it is present in front of female reproductive opening, and reproduction is exhibited by both asexual and sexual. So for the examples for this order is Tubifex and Elozoma. So on the other hand, order 2 Neo-oligochaeta, usually they are terrestrial forms. The body is little bit larger and many segments are actually present, and setae are basically present like managed in series wise, and the gizzard is very well developed. Clitellum is also very well developed. So in this case of Neo-oligochaeta, female genital aperture is always on the 14th segment, and the male genital pore lies actually few segments behind that female genital pore, and eye spots are never developed in this case. In this order, reproduction is basically with the help of sexual reproduction. So the best examples for this order is Ferritima, that is what the earthworm category like Megoscolex, Lumbricus, all these belongs to this order Neo-oligochaeta. So this is about the class 2. Coming to class 3 Hirudinea. So this class completely belongs to the leeches category, where their ectoparasitic category, predatory nature actually. The body is dorsoventrally flattened and they don't have any setae or parapodia. They're completely absent. And instead of that, they have developed suckers because they are parasitic nature. They have to stick to the host body, right? Ectoparasitic nature. So because of this nature, instead of that parapodia and setae, they have developed the suckers, both anterior side and as well as posterior side. They have suckers on their body. And one more, the adaptation what we can see in this class, the coelom is highly reduced, and instead of that, it is having that a very unique type of tissue which is exhibiting that the bunches of grapes, which is like it actually looks like that, which is known as botryoidal tissue actually, which is very unique character for this class. And the this class is also completely hermaphrodites actually. Direct development, no larval form is actually present, and eggs are basically laid inside the cocoon. So cocoons are going to be formed. So inside that cocoon, the eggs are basically laid. And as I told you that there is no larval form basically. So development is directly from the egg. The young leeches are going to be come outside. So this class Hirudinea is further classified into four orders. So the order 1 is sorry, Acanthoptelidae, and order 2 is Rhynchoptelidae. So coming to order 1, Acanthoptelidae, where most of them are parasitic and they live on the fins of the salmon fish especially. The body comprises like 30 segments only, and a little bit primitive type of leech category. They don't have any anterior suckers, proboscis or jaw. And the body is basically a little bit, and that means inside it is a little bit spacious. It is incompletely divided into septa. Okay, the examples for this category is Acanthoptela. That is what the example for this order. And order 2 is Rhynchoptelida, usually terrestrial forms. They are, the body is very large and have many segment numbers, right? And the gizzard is very well developed, and as well as like if you're going to see like they are a little bit very well developed than the Acanthoptelida. Coming to order 3, Nathopdelida, where we can able to observe these are freshwater and terrestrial form. That is what they're completely ectoparasitic blood-sucking leeches. And each body typically divided into segments, and each segment that means of 5 rings, which are also known as actually annuli. Okay, each segment is actually further divided into 5 rings or annuli. So they are having both anterior and as well as posterior suckers, right? And their blood is red in color. As I told you that they're going to have that characteristic botryoidal tissue. And the examples for this category is Hirudo or Hirudinaria. Coming to order 4, Pharyngobdelidae. They are terrestrial or aquatic. Both forms are present, and some of them are predaceous in nature, and they don't have any teeth, and pharynx is also non-producible, and the examples for this category is Dina. So now moving to next class, that is what Archaeannelida. So these are exclusively marine forms. The body is elongated and worm-like. Setae and parapodia are usually absent. Uh, External segmentation is slightly marked actually. Sexes are usually separate and they are hermaphrodites. Usually they have the trochophore larva, that means development is indirect. And the examples for this category is Polygodius. So this is about the classification of the phylum Annelida. So totally, as a summary, annelids are like if you're going to see the general characters, annelids are triploblastic in nature with exhibiting bilateral symmetry and coelom. They're going to have the true coelom, true segmentation, a very key character of this phylum. And they're going to have closed type of circulatory system, and they have nephridia as excretory organs, setae or parapodia, which are meant for locomotion or locomotory organelles. Sexual reproduction actually happens, and if the development is indirect, that means they're going to have the trochophore larva. And coming to summary of the classification of phylum Annelida, where we have talked about this phylum is further divided into 4 classes. That is what Polychaeta, Oligochaeta, Hirudinea, Archaeannelida, right? So this is about the both as a whole, the characters and as well as classification of the phylum Annelida. This is what the references cited for this topic. Thank you for listening to class.